Lily watched her husband Tom from across the living room. He was laughing into his phone again, his eyes crinkling at the corners the way they did when he was truly happy. She knew without asking who was on the other end of the line. Kate, his sister. "No, you're the one who's crazy," Tom said, his voice warm with affection. "Remember that time at the beach when you buried me in the sand and left me there?" He chuckled, running his fingers through his dark hair. "Yeah, Mom was so mad at you." Lily sipped her coffee, trying not to feel the familiar sting of exclusion. They'd been married for 10 months now, but sometimes she felt like the third wheel in her own marriage. Tom and Kate shared a lifetime of memories that Lily would never be part of. "Okay, I'll see you tomorrow for lunch," Tom said. "Love you too." He hung up and turned to Lily with a smile that didn't quite reach the same brightness it had moments ago. "Kate says hi." "Does she?" Lily asked, knowing full well Kate had probably done no such thing. "That's nice. She broke up with that guy she was seeing. I told her we'd take her out this weekend to cheer her up." Lily bit her lip. "This weekend? But we were supposed to look at that house in the suburbs." Tom's face fell. "Oh right. Well, Kate's really upset. We can reschedule the house viewing, can't we?" Before Lily could answer, Tom's phone buzzed with a text. His face lit up again as he read it. "Kate sent me a funny meme." "Look." He passed the phone to Lily, who forced a smile at the inside joke she didn't understand. It was about some cartoon they'd watched as kids. "You two are so close," Lily said carefully. As an only child, she had always wondered what having siblings was like. But she suspected most brothers and sisters didn't text each other 20 times a day or drop everything when the other called. "Well, we've always been there for each other," Tom said, taking his phone back and typing a quick response. "Especially after our parents divorced. We were all we had." That night, they went to dinner at Tom's parents' house. His mother had remarried years ago, and the family gathered monthly for dinner. Lily watched as Tom automatically took the seat next to Kate, their shoulders touching as they looked at something on her phone. "They've always been like that," Tom's mother Mary said, noticing Lily's gaze. "Thick as thieves since they were little. Sometimes I think they forget the rest of us are in the room." At the table, Kate dominated the conversation, telling stories that always featured Tom prominently. "Remember when you drove 4 hours to pick me up after my car broke down in college?" she said, touching his arm. "You missed your final exam for me." "It wasn't a big deal." Tom shrugged, but Lily could see he was pleased by the memory. "Who wants dessert?" Mary asked, standing up. "I'll help," Lily offered, following her mother-in-law to the kitchen. As they sliced the cake, Lily gathered her courage. "Can I ask you something? Is Tom and Kate's relationship normal for siblings?" Mary paused, knife in hand. "They've always been unusually close. When the divorce happened, Tom took it upon himself to protect Kate. She was only 8, and he was 12, she sighed. Sometimes I worry they're too dependent on each other. Has it been causing problems?" Lily didn't know how to answer. Was it a problem that Tom called his sister every morning on his way to work? That he kept a framed photo of Kate on his nightstand? That he seemed to light up in a special way when Kate was around, a way Lily had rarely seen directed at her? "I'm still figuring it out," Lily said finally. When they returned to the dining room, Tom had his arm draped casually around Kate's shoulders as they laughed about something. For a moment, if Lily hadn't known better, she might have mistaken them for a couple. And that thought terrified her more than she wanted to admit. 3 weeks after the family dinner, Lily sat alone in a fancy restaurant. 2 glasses of wine stood on the table, one empty, one untouched. The waiter approached again with a sympathetic smile. "Would you like to order, or are you still waiting for someone?" Lily checked her phone for the 10th time. No new messages. "I'll wait just a little longer," she said, forcing a smile. Today was their 1-year wedding anniversary. Lily had booked this restaurant months ago. It was where Tom had proposed to her. She'd spent hours getting ready, wearing the red dress he loved, her hair styled the way he preferred. The buzzing of her phone made her heart jump. Finally. But it wasn't Tom. It was Diane, her best friend. "How's the anniversary dinner?" Diane's text read. Lily's fingers hovered over the screen. Should she admit that she was sitting alone? That her husband had forgotten? Just then, her phone rang. Tom's name flashed on the screen. "Tom, where are you?" "The reservation was for 7. "Lily, I'm so sorry," Tom said, his voice rushed. Kate got into a minor car accident. Nothing serious, but she was shaken up. I had to pick her up and take her to urgent care. They're checking her for a concussion now. Lily closed her eyes, the restaurant noise fading around her. Today is our anniversary, Tom. A pause. Oh my God, the dinner reservation. Lily, I completely forgot. The admission stung worse than she expected. It's fine, she said automatically, though it wasn't. Is Kate okay? She'll be fine. Just a bump on her head and some bruises. He paused. I should stay with her tonight, though. The doctor said someone should wake her every few hours to check on her. Doesn't she have roommates who could do that? Lily asked, already knowing the answer. They're out of town this weekend. Look, I'll make this up to you, I promise. We can celebrate tomorrow night. After hanging up, Lily paid for her untouched wine and left. The night air was chilly against her bare shoulders as she walked to her car. She drove home in silence, the gift she had bought for Tom sitting on the passenger seat, an expensive watch she'd saved for months to buy. At home, Lily opened a bottle of wine and curled up on the couch. She scrolled through her phone, landing on Kate's social media profile. There was a new post from just 30 minutes ago, a selfie of Kate in an urgent care room, looking perfectly fine except for a small bandage on her forehead. The caption read, "Minor accident. Thanks to my amazing brother for dropping everything to rescue me. Hashtag best brother ever, hashtag always there." Lily zoomed in on the corner of the photo. She could see Tom's hand on Kate's shoulder, his wedding ring clearly visible. The comments below were filled with heart emojis and messages like, "You two are so cute," and brother goals. Lily poured more wine, wondering how many of these people knew Tom was married. Did they think his constant presence in Kate's life was normal? Or did they, like Lily was beginning to, see something unsettling in this relationship? Her phone buzzed with a text from Diane, "Everything okay?" Lily hesitated, then finally typed, "No. He's with Kate again. Car accident. Nothing serious but enough for him to forget our anniversary." Diane's response was immediate, "That's it. I'm coming over with ice cream and more wine." When Diane arrived 30 minutes later, Lily had already finished her bottle of wine and was fighting back tears. "This can't be normal," Lily said as they sat on her couch. "The way they act around each other, the way he drops everything for her. Last week he gave her money for her rent without even telling me, money from our joint account." Diane sighed. "Have you talked to him about it?" "I've tried. He says I'm overreacting, that I don't understand because I don't have siblings." "Well, I have 2 brothers," Diane said, "and I love them, but we don't act like we're dating each other." Lily looked up, surprised to hear someone else say out loud what she'd been thinking. "So you see it too?" "It's not just me being jealous." "It's not just you," Diane confirmed. "Have you considered that maybe Kate is deliberately trying to come between you?" Lily stared at her empty glass. What if it's worse than that? What if she's in love with him? The thought hung in the air between them, terrible and yet somehow making perfect sense. Lily sat nervously in the living room of her in-laws' house. Tom's mother, Mary, had invited her for tea while Tom was at work. This was her chance to understand more about Tom and Kate's unusual relationship. "Thank you for coming over," Mary said, pouring tea into delicate cups. "I've been wanting to talk to you alone for a while now." Lily wrapped her fingers around the warm cup. "I have some questions about Tom and Kate. Their relationship seems different from other siblings I've known." Mary nodded slowly. "I was afraid of this. You're not the first, you know." She set her cup down with a sigh. Tom's ex-girlfriend Jessica had similar concerns. "There were others?" Lily asked, surprised. 3 serious girlfriends before you. All eventually left because of Kate." Mary looked down at her hands. "I blame myself partly. After the divorce, I was working 2 jobs. Tom stepped in to take care of Kate when I couldn't." "That's understandable," Lily said. "But they're adults now." Mary reached for a photo album on the coffee table. "Let me show you something." She opened to a page with pictures of teenage Tom and Kate. In one, Tom stood proudly next to Kate at what looked like a school dance. Kate's date canceled last minute. Tom skipped his own prom to take her to hers, Mary explained. She turned the page to show Kate in a hospital bed. When Kate was 16, she had her appendix removed. Tom slept in that uncomfortable chair next to her for 3 nights. He was 19 and missed his college finals. nearly failed the semester. Lily studied the pictures, noticing how Tom looked at his sister with the same devotion he sometimes showed her. What about their father? Mary's face darkened. He left us for his secretary, classic story, but what made it worse was that he promised the kids he'd still be there for them. Kate waited by the window every other weekend for him to pick them up. He rarely showed. So Tom became her protector, Lily murmured. More than that, he became her everything, father, brother, best friend. And Kate. Mary hesitated. Kate never learned to form healthy attachments to other men. The front door opened and Kate walked in without knocking. She stopped short at the sight of Lily. "What's going on here?" Kate asked, her tone instantly suspicious. "Just having tea with my daughter-in-law," Mary said calmly. "You're welcome to join us." Kate's eyes narrowed at Lily. "So this is where you disappeared to? Talking about me behind my back." "Kate," Mary warned. Lily stood up. "Actually, I was asking about Tom's childhood, trying to understand him better." Kate crossed her arms. "I know him better than anyone ever will. Better than you. Better than any of those other women who tried to come between us." The raw hostility in her voice shocked Lily. This wasn't sibling protectiveness. This was something possessive, almost jealous. "Kate, that's enough," Mary said firmly. "Lily is Tom's wife." "For now," Kate muttered. Lily gathered her purse, her hands shaking slightly. "I should go. Thank you for the tea, Mary." Outside, Lily sat in her car trying to process what had just happened. Her phone buzzed with a text from Tom. "Where are you?" "Thought we were meeting for lunch." She had completely forgotten their lunch plans. Before she could respond, another text came through. "Never mind. Kate said she saw you at Mom's house. Everything okay?" Of course Kate had immediately called him. Lily typed back, "Yes, just had tea with your mom. Running a bit late." She drove to the restaurant, her mind racing. When she arrived, Tom and Kate were already there, sitting close together in a booth. Tom waved her over. "Kate decided to join us. Hope that's okay." Lily slid into the booth across from them. Of course she lied, watching as Kate casually picked food off Tom's plate, something Lily had done once, only to have Tom tense up uncomfortably. "So," Kate said with a false smile, "Mom showed you the old family photos." "Some of them," Lily replied carefully. "Did she tell you about all of Tom's exes? How none of them could handle our close relationship?" Tom frowned. "Kate, come on." "What? She should know what she's up against." Kate looked directly at Lily. "Tom and I have a bond that no one can break. Not even a wife." Under the table, Lily dug her nails into her palm. She had her answer now. This wasn't normal sibling behavior, and she would have to decide what to do about it. The smell of antiseptic filled Lily's nose as she sat in the waiting room. Today was her first prenatal appointment, and Tom had promised to be there. She checked her watch again, 20 minutes late. She called him 3 times, but he wasn't picking up. "Lily Parker?" the nurse called. Lily looked around one last time, hoping to see Tom rushing through the door. Nothing. "That's me," she said, rising from her chair. The nurse led her to an examination room. "Your husband will be joining us?" "He's running late," Lily said, the words tasting bitter in her mouth. She changed into the paper gown and waited on the examination table, still checking her phone. Finally, it buzzed with a text from Tom. "So sorry. Kate had a panic attack at work. Had to take her home. Can you reschedule?" Lily stared at the message, something breaking inside her. She had told Tom about this appointment weeks ago. Had reminded him just yesterday. This wasn't just another dinner or movie night. This was their baby. By the time she got home, Lily's sadness had hardened into resolve. She found Tom in the kitchen making dinner. "How was the appointment?" he asked casually. "You would know if you had been there," Lily said, setting her purse down heavily on the counter. "The doctor heard the heartbeat. Our baby's heartbeat. The one you missed because Kate had another convenient emergency." Tom frowned. "That's not fair. She really was having a panic attack." "Tom, I'm pregnant with your child. Your sister is a grown woman who somehow managed to survive for 28 years before you married me. But ever since we got married, she can't seem to function without you. She's going through a hard time. She's always going through a hard time." Lily's voice rose. "Every time we have plans, every time we try to build our life together, Kate needs you. And you always choose her." Tom's face flushed with anger. She's my sister. What am I supposed to do, abandon her? No, but you could set some boundaries. You could tell her that sometimes your wife and your child need to come first. Tom shook his head. You don't understand. You don't have siblings. Stop using that excuse, Lily said, tears forming in her eyes. I've talked to people with siblings. I've talked to your mother. What you and Kate have isn't normal, Tom. What are you saying? I'm saying that sometimes it feels like you're married to her, not me. That the only reason you married me is because society doesn't let you marry your sister. The words hung in the air between them. Tom's face went pale, and Lily immediately regretted saying it out loud. I can't believe you would even think that, Tom whispered. That's disgusting, is it? Lily challenged, unable to stop now. Then why do you drop everything when she calls? Why did you give her money from our savings without asking me? Why does she have a key to our house that she uses whenever she wants? Why do you remember all her favorite things but forget our anniversary? You're being ridiculous, Tom said, but his eyes wouldn't meet hers. Am I? Because your mother told me about your ex-girlfriends. All of them left because of Kate, because of this weird relationship you have. The doorbell rang, interrupting their argument. Tom went to answer it, and Lily heard Kate's voice in the hallway. I brought dessert, Kate called, walking into the kitchen with a cake box. She stopped when she saw Lily's tear-stained face. Oh, bad time? Actually, yes, Lily said firmly. Tom and I are having an important conversation. Kate looked at Tom expectantly, clearly waiting for him to contradict Lily. When he didn't, her face hardened. I see. Well, I'll just leave this here and go. She placed the cake box on the counter and turned to leave, but not before whispering to Tom loudly enough for Lily to hear. Call me later. When the front door closed, Tom turned back to Lily. See what you did? You hurt her feelings. And in that moment, Lily knew. This was never going to change. Not unless she forced it to. I want you to choose, Tom, she said quietly. Either you set real boundaries with Kate, or I'm leaving. Lily placed the last of her clothes into the suitcase and zipped it shut. The house was quiet, too quiet. It had been 3 days since she'd given Tom the ultimatum, and his response had been to pack a bag and go to think things through. She knew exactly where he was staying, Kate's apartment. She moved her suitcase to the door and looked around the bedroom one last time. On the nightstand sat the framed photo of Tom and her on their wedding day, his smile bright and genuine. Next to it was the sonogram picture from her appointment, the one Tom had missed. Her phone rang, and she saw Diane's name on the screen. I'm on my way, Diane said without preamble. Are you all packed? Just finished, Lily replied, her voice steadier than she expected. Thank you for letting me stay with you. That's what friends are for. How are you feeling? Lily placed a hand on her still flat stomach. Sad, angry, relieved in a way. At least I'm doing something instead of just accepting this mess. After hanging up, Lily sat on the edge of the bed and picked up her wedding photo. Tom had been so attentive that day, the happiest day of her life. Kate had been the maid of honor, Tom's choice. Lily remembered now how Kate had disappeared for an hour during the reception, causing Tom to search frantically for her instead of having their first dance. The doorbell rang. Thinking it was Diane, Lily went to answer it. Instead, she found a man she didn't recognize standing on her porch. Can I help you? She asked cautiously. Are you Lily, Tom's wife? The man was tall with kind eyes and a nervous expression. Yes. And you are? I'm Jack. I dated Kate for 8 months until recently. He shifted uncomfortably. I heard you and Tom are having problems because of Kate. I thought maybe I could help. Lily hesitated, then stepped back to let him in. How did you find me? Your friend Diane reached out through mutual friends, said you could use some perspective from someone who's been in your shoes. They sat in the living room, and Jack ran a hand through his hair. Kate and I broke up because of Tom. Their relationship, it's not right. I tried to be understanding, but when a woman calls her brother before her boyfriend, every time she's upset, when she cancels dates because her brother needs her, it's not normal. Did you ever confront her about it? Lily asked. Once. She got defensive, said I was trying to come between them. Jack leaned forward. But here's what you need to know. I think Kate sabotaged your marriage on purpose. Lily's breath caught. What do you mean? Kate talked about you all the time, usually not in a good way. She'd say things like Lily's trying to change Tom or Lily doesn't understand our bond. When she had that car accident on your anniversary, she called me first. I couldn't come right away, so she called Tom instead, knowing exactly what day it was. Lily felt cold. She did it on purpose. Jack nodded. The panic attack when you had your doctor's appointment. She texted me about it later, seemed proud that Tom had left you to help her. The front door opened and Tom walked in. He stopped short at the sight of Jack. What the hell is he doing here? Tom demanded. Jack came to talk to me, Lily said, standing up. About Kate. Tom's face darkened. You're Kate's ex. You have no right to be in my house talking to my wife. I have every right, Jack replied calmly. I care about what Kate is doing to your marriage. She did the same thing to our relationship. Get out, Tom said, his voice dangerously low. Jack looked at Lily, who nodded slightly. It's okay. Thank you for coming. After Jack left, Tom turned to Lily. So now you're conspiring with Kate's ex-boyfriend? How low will you go? He came to warn me, Lily said, and everything he said confirms what I already suspected. Kate is deliberately coming between us, and you're letting her. Tom noticed the suitcase by the door. You're leaving? Yes. I meant what I said, Tom. Either you set boundaries with Kate, or I'm gone. So this is it? An ultimatum? No, Lily said softly. This is me choosing myself and our baby. This is me refusing to be second place in my own marriage. Tom's eyes fell to her stomach. For a moment, his expression softened. Then his phone buzzed in his pocket. He glanced at it, and Lily knew without asking who it was. Kate needs me, he said. Lily picked up her suitcase. And there's your choice. 2 weeks passed with no word from Tom. Lily settled into Diane's spare bedroom, trying to focus on her pregnancy and her job. She had texted Tom about her next doctor's appointment, but received no response. Each night she stared at her phone, hoping he would call, but he never did. Then one rainy evening there was a knock at Diane's door. Lily opened it to find Tom standing there, soaking wet, his eyes red and tired. Can I come in? He asked, his voice hoarse. Lily stepped aside, her heart racing. They sat in Diane's living room, Tom perched awkwardly on the edge of the couch. How are you feeling? He asked, glancing at her stomach. The morning sickness is better, Lily said. I have another appointment next week. She paused. I told you about it. Tom nodded. I know. I got your message. He took a deep breath. I want to be there. Lily studied his face, afraid to hope. What's changed, Tom? He ran his hand through his wet hair. Something happened, something that opened my eyes. He looked down at his hands. Kate applied for a job at your company, in your department. Lily frowned. What? Kate knows nothing about marketing. Exactly. But she found out there was an opening working directly under you. She didn't tell me she was applying. I found the application on her laptop when I was using it to check my email. She was trying to get a job as my subordinate. Why would she? To spy on you. To make your work life difficult. Tom's voice cracked. When I confronted her, she didn't even deny it. She said she was protecting me from you. Lily felt cold despite the warmth of the room. What did you do? I left. I've been staying in a hotel for the past 3 days, thinking about everything. About us? About Kate. He looked up, his eyes meeting Lily's. You were right. Our relationship isn't normal. It never was. Lily waited, afraid to break the moment with words. I talked to a therapist yesterday, Tom continued. She used words like emotional incest and codependency. She said our parents' divorce created an unhealthy bond between us, and I've been using Kate as a shield against real intimacy. A shield? Lily asked. It's safer to be needed by Kate than to be vulnerable with you, Tom explained. If I'm always rushing to save her, I never have to face my fear of failing you. Of not being enough for you. Lily moved to sit beside him on the couch. Tom, all I ever wanted was to be your priority sometimes. Not always. I understand Kate is important to you. But I needed to know that our marriage, our family, came first. I know that now, Tom said, and I want to fix this, if it's not too late. He reached for her hand. I love you, Lily, you and our baby. And I'm ready to set proper boundaries with Kate. What kind of boundaries? Lily asked, still cautious. I told her I won't be available 24/7 anymore, that she needs to find other support systems, friends, a therapist, support groups. I've blocked her number for now, until I'm strong enough to maintain those boundaries. How did she take it? Tom winced. Not well. She accused me of abandoning her, just like Dad did. She threatened to tell everyone I chose a woman over my own blood. But for the first time, I didn't give in to the guilt. Lily squeezed his hand. And what happens now? I'd like to come home. To work on our marriage. To be there for you and the baby. His eyes were earnest, hopeful. I've scheduled regular appointments with the therapist. I want to understand why I let this happen, how to be a better husband and father. Lily felt tears gathering in her eyes. I missed you, she admitted. I missed you too, Tom said, pulling her gently into his arms. More than I realized was possible. As he held her, Lily felt something she hadn't felt in a long time, the sense that she was truly first in her husband's heart. 6 months later, Lily sat in the nursery, rocking their newborn daughter in her arms. The room was painted a soft yellow, with pictures of animals on the walls. Sunlight streamed through the curtains, casting a golden glow over everything. She's finally asleep, Lily whispered as Tom entered the room. He smiled, leaning against the doorframe to watch them. She has your eyes. And your stubborn personality, Lily teased. 3 diaper changes and 2 feedings before she would settle down. Tom came closer, kneeling beside the rocking chair to gently stroke his daughter's tiny hand. Hello, Ella, he whispered. Daddy loves you so much. The past 6 months had been a journey of healing. Tom had continued with therapy, working through his codependency issues and learning to set healthy boundaries. Lily had moved back home after a month, cautiously optimistic about the changes she was seeing. Kate had been another story. At first she'd called constantly, showing up at their house unannounced and trying to create emergencies to pull Tom away. When Tom held firm to his boundaries, she had moved through stages of anger, bargaining, and finally, reluctant acceptance. What time is your mother coming? Lily asked, carefully placing Ella in her crib. Around 4. She's bringing a casserole and, according to her text, enough baby clothes to last until college. Tom chuckled. And Kate? Lily asked, her voice careful. This would be Kate's first visit since Ella was born 3 weeks ago. Tom wrapped his arm around Lily's waist. She knows the rules. She'll be on her best behavior. They had established clear guidelines for Kate's role in their lives. No more than 2 visits a week. No calls after 8 p.m. unless it was a genuine emergency. No unexplained gifts or financial entanglements. And most importantly, respect for Lily as Tom's wife and Ella's mother. At exactly 4, the doorbell rang. Mary bustled in with her arms full of packages, cooing over her granddaughter. Kate followed more hesitantly, carrying a small gift bag. She's beautiful, Kate said, standing slightly apart from the others. She looks like you, Tom. Thank you for coming, Lily said, extending an olive branch. Kate nodded, her smile tight but genuine. I brought her something. She handed the bag to Lily, who opened it to find a small stuffed rabbit. I had one just like it when I was little, Kate explained. Tom gave it to me after Dad left. The moment hung between them, fragile and loaded with meaning. Then Lily stepped forward and did something she'd never done before. She hugged Kate. After a moment of surprise, Kate hugged her back. Would you like to hold her? Lily asked. Kate's eyes widened. Can I? Lily carefully placed Ella in Kate's arms, watching as Kate's face softened at the sight of her niece. Tom stood beside them, his eyes moist with emotion. Later, after dinner, Lily found Tom standing in the nursery again, watching Ella sleep. That went better than I expected, Lily said, slipping her arm around his waist. Kate's seeing someone, Tom revealed. A therapist she met in her support group. She wanted to tell you herself, but couldn't find the right moment. That's wonderful, Lily said sincerely. I want her to be happy, Tom. I never wanted to take you away from her. I just needed you to see that there was room in your heart for both of us, in different ways. Tom turned to face her, taking both her hands in his. I have something for you. He pulled a small jewelry box from his pocket. Inside was a delicate necklace with 3 intertwined circles. One for each of us, you, me, and Ella, he explained, fastening it around her neck. My family, my priority. He kissed her softly. Thank you for not giving up on me. Lily leaned her forehead against his. When I married you, I promised for better or worse. I'm just glad we found our way back to better. From the crib, Ella made a small noise, and they both turned to look at their daughter. In that moment, surrounded by the family they had created, Lily felt a sense of completeness she had once feared would never be possible. The journey had been painful, but worth every step. Tom was fully hers now, not because Kate had been pushed out of his life, but because he had learned to love them both in the right ways, healthy ways. As Tom pulled her close, Lily knew that their story wasn't ending, it was just beginning. A story of family, boundaries, and love strong enough to overcome even the most complicated bonds.